Hello everyone, welcome to my video on multi-level inheritance. In this video, we are going to learn what is multi-level inheritance, how to define a derived classes in multi-level inheritance, creating objects of derived class, a sample C++ program to implement multi-level inheritance, question and answer session, and at the end, assignment or exercise for you. Types of inheritance. So there are 5 types of inheritance. First, single inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. So out of these 5, we are going to learn how to implement multi-level inheritance in C++. Let us see what is exactly multi-level inheritance. If one class is derived from another class and which itself is derived from another class, another base class, known as multi-level inheritance. So like this, minimum 3 classes are involved to form multi-level inheritance. There are multiple levels of extension of classes. So the class is extended further into more than one level, that is 2 or 3 or n number of levels. This is base class. From this base class, one new class is inherited, that is derived, which is known as intermediate base class. From this intermediate base class, one more class is derived, that is derived class, and so on. We can derive multiple classes. So in this structure, this is level 1, that is between first and second class. The intermediate base class is derived from base class, that is level 1. Then level 2, in level 2 derived class is derived from intermediate base class, and like this there may be n number of levels. So this is the structure of multi-level inheritance, in which multiple levels of extension of classes. While implementing multi-level inheritance in C++, the base class is defined with normal class definition. So there is no change. As usual, you can go for definition of base class, which includes data members in private section, member functions in public section. Then it is required to define intermediate base class and derived class. So intermediate base class is defined like this: class intermediate base class name, then colon, that is a relationship operator between derived class and base class, mode, base class name, so from which base class the class is derived. Then in private section, as usual, the data members declaration, and in public section the declaration or definition of member functions. On the same line, you can define another derived class which is inherited from intermediate base class. So this is the syntax: class keyword, then the name of the derived class, colon, the mode of inheritance, and intermediate base class name. Again, it has its own data members under private section and member functions under public section. So here colon indicates a relationship between derived class and base class, from which base class the new class is derived. That is indicated by the colon symbol or colon operator, which is in between derived class and base class. Mode is, it may be private, public, or protected. 3 types of modes, inheritance modes are there: private, public, and protected. Usually the public mode is mostly used. So here base class, and from this base class this intermediate class is derived. So like this, there is inheritance happening between base class and intermediate class under level 1. Under level 2, intermediate base class. From this intermediate base class, the derived class is derived or inherited. So this is level number 2. So like this, here I have given the syntax of minimum 2 levels, and like this the levels can be further extended up to n number of levels. Then in main function we have to create objects. While implementing multi-level inheritance, the objects are created of derived class and not of base class or intermediate base class. As usual, when you are implementing any type of inheritance, we are always creating the objects of derived classes. The derived class name and the list of objects, that is object names, n number of objects you can create. This is the simple syntax, the normal regular syntax. Accessing member functions. Now using this object you can access member functions. Now here minimum 3 classes are involved: base class, intermediate base class and derived class. Now the object is created only of derived class. Now this object of derived class can access the member functions of its own class, then its intermediate base class and finally the base class. So means the member functions of all these 3 classes can be easily accessed by the object of derived class. So in this way, the object dot base class member function with arguments, object dot intermediate base class member function with arguments, object dot derived class member function with arguments. So like this, the object can access any member functions out of any of these 3 classes under multi-level inheritance. Let us implement multi-level inheritance in a C++ program using one problem. This is the problem definition. Write a C++ program to implement multi-level inheritance as shown in figure. Accept roll number, name and marks of student and display the total marks along with the information or data of student. So there is one base class. There is a class named student in which there are 2 data members, roll number and name of student. From this student class you have to derive one class, that is test, and in which there will be 2 data members, marks 1 and marks 2. From test class again one more class is derived, that is a result, which has 1 data member total. So like this 3 classes are involved and there is a relationship between these 3 classes in the form of multi-level inheritance. Let us write a C++ program to implement multi-level inheritance. First of all, as usual, include iostream.h header file. Now let us write the base class definition. The class is student. The student class is having data members, and in this private section I am going to declare roll number of integer type and name of character type array. So this is the private section. The private section label is not indicated here, and by default if it is not indicated it will be considered as private. Under public section, let us define member function get student, which accept no arguments and no return type. Display the message enter roll number using cout and insertion operator. Accept the value of roll number using cin and extraction operator. Display the message enter name using cout and insertion operator. Accept the name value of name using getS function. End of the get student member function. Now on the right side of your screen, void, let us define put student member function, which will display the values of roll number and name data members. This function also does not accept any argument and not returning any value. It is void. So first of all I will display the value of roll number, and then on next line I will display the value of name of student. So like this I have performed output operation to display the roll number and name of student using put student member function. Let us end the class. So this is the complete class definition of student class. Let us go for next class, that is intermediate base class. Our intermediate base class is test, which is derived from student class. So like this, here I will define the intermediate base class, which is publicly inherited from student base class. So class test colon public, that is the mode, and student is the name of base class. So here test class is derived publicly from student class, which is our intermediate base class. It has its own private section, and in that the data members, two data members are there, marks1 and marks2 of integer type. In public section we have member function getMarks, which is again the void function, does not accept any argument and does not return any value. Next function is getTotal, which does not accept any arguments, but it returns the integer type of value. That integer type of value is nothing but the total of marks1 and marks2. So let us end the declaration of test class, which is the intermediate base class. The definition of getMarks and getTotal member functions we are going to define or write on next slide. Now let us write the definition of member functions. GetMarks, which is the member of test class, does not return any value, does not accept any argument. So the first line of this member function will be void test scope resolution operator getMarks. Then first let us display the prompt message, enter marks of two subjects, so that user can enter the values of two marks, that is seen extraction operators marks1 and marks2. So this is input operation to accept the values of two marks data members, marks1 and marks2. Member function to define total. So let's write the member function definition of getTotal. GetTotal is the member function of test class, and it returns integer type of value and does not accept any argument. So in this way my first line will be int test scope resolution operator getTotal, no arguments. One local variable will be required to find the total, that is let us say tot of integer type. Find the value of tot by taking addition of marks1 and marks2 data members and return the value of tot variable, that is return total of marks. So in this way getTotal function will find the total of two marks and will return it. Now let us go for class number 3, that is derived class. So that is level number 2. So the name of the class is result and it is publicly derived from class test. So like this, test is the intermediate base class and result is its derived. So in its private section one data member is there, that is total of integer type. In public section I will display the value of total. Now the total is calculated by taking the addition of marks1 and marks2, but marks1 and marks2 are private data members of test class, and the private data members of test class cannot be accessed within another class. So these private data members are protected. Even though in inheritance the private data members are not accessible to any other class or within any other class or outside the test class. So in this way the total of marks1 and marks2 cannot be calculated here in this result class, but for that we have already defined getTotal function in test class, and this getTotal function can be easily accessed here within result class. So total is equal to getTotal. So I call the intermediate class function getTotal within putTotal function of result class. So this is the member function of one class is called within the member function of another class. This is also called as nesting of member functions. So here getTotal function will return the total value, and that total value will be assigned to total data member, and like this total is obtained here and it is displayed using cout and insertion operator. Total marks is equal to total. So like this putTotal function will get the total from getTotal function and will display it. End of the putTotal function, and here this total is equal to getTotal. This is the nesting of member function. One member function is called within another member function. End of derived class. So like this, now we have finished the all three definitions of all three classes. Now let us go for main function. So let us write the main function. Int main. First of all, let us create object of derived class. Our derived class is result, and from this result class I am creating object R, capital R. First of all, I will display the message enter data of student, and below that I will call the member function, appropriate member function, to accept the data of student. So first of all, I will accept the roll number and name of student by calling get student function of base class using object R. So R dot get student. Then I will call get marks function, that is which is the member function of intermediate base class, and here this function will accept the values of two data members, marks 1 and marks 2. So like this, the get marks function is called using object R dot get marks. Like this, object R is calling the member function of base class, also the member function of intermediate base class, and object R is the object of result class, which is the derived class. So it is allowed in inheritance. Now let us go for output operation. Data of student, this message, that is the title for output, is displayed data of student. For displaying, we have two member functions, that is put student and put total. So first of all, I will display the data of student, that is the roll number and name, using put student function. So the function call is R dot put student. Here the R object is calling the base class member function. Then R object will call the member function of derived class, that is put total. The put total function will display the total, and within put total function the another member function is called, that is get total, which is the member function of intermediate base class. So like this, here finally the total marks will be displayed. Return 0, end of the main function. So like this, we have finished the complete C++ program to implement multi-level inheritance. If you run this program, you will get the output like this. On the right side of your screen, you can view the output. First of all, enter data of student. This message will be displayed. Then it will accept the roll number. Then it will accept the name of the student. Let us say 75 and Sanjay Patil. Enter marks of two subjects. Now user will enter the marks. Let us say 22, 20. The input is over. Now the program will display the output by displaying the with heading, that is the title data of student, followed by roll number 75, name Sanjay Patil, total marks 42. So in this way, we will get the expected output from this C++ program in which we have implemented multi-level inheritance. Hope you have understood the concept of multi-level inheritance. Let us check your understanding of today's video. Try to find the answer of these simple questions. The answer will be in a single word only. First question for you: minimum how many classes are required to implement multi-level inheritance? So if you want to implement multi-level inheritance, minimum how many classes are required? Second question: the class which is derived from base class is known as dash dash class. So you have to give the name of that class which is derived from base class. Question number 3: in multi-level inheritance, object of derived class can access member functions of both base and intermediate base classes. The object of derived class can access member functions of both base and intermediate base classes, whether this statement is true or false. Fourth question: in multi-level inheritance, the objects are created of dash dash class. So which class is used to create the object? That is, you have to give the name. With respect to multi-level inheritance, which statement is correct? So I am going to give you two statements, statement A and statement B. One class is derived from multiple base classes, one class is derived from another class, which itself is derived from another class. Out of these two, A and B, which is correct with respect to multi-level inheritance? Last question. In multi-level inheritance, only 3 classes with 2 levels can be implemented. So, whether it is true or false. So, only 3 classes with 2 levels can be implemented, whether this is true or false. So, like this, if you are able to answer the questions of these simple questions, then you can conclude that you have understood the concept of multi-level inheritance. Now, one exercise for you. Write a C++ program to implement the multi-level inheritance as shown in figure. Accept and display information of one car. So, you have to define one class. The name of the class is car. The one data type is car type. Then from this car class, you have to derive another class. The name of the class is brand, which has 2 data members, brand name and speed of car. From this brand class, again you have to derive model class, and in this model class there are 2 data members, model name and price. So this is information of car, that is the type of car, brand name of car, speed of car, model name of car and price of car. Okay, some examples are given. You may use the car, that is a sports type of car, hatchback type of car, SUV car, van type of car, etc. Brand may be Maruti, Hyundai, Honda, Toyota, etc. and model may be i20, Wagoner, CT, Fortuner, etc. So like this, this is the data that which represents car type, brand name, model name, right? And this is for your understanding. Now with the help of this problem definition and given figure, now you should able to write C++ program to implement multi-level inheritance. Thank you for watching this video on multi-level inheritance.